Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tori if you're new here, and I have little Emmy with me. She is fast asleep, and we are going to talk to you about some herbs and just different items that you can have in your prepper pantry, apothecary, pantry, whatever you want to call it, in your arsenal, so you can prevent certain illnesses and or aid in them. And I did want to talk about that today, prevention methods that I use personally. But before I do all of that, hello, my name is Tori. I am a wife, mother to 3. We talk about being prepared on a budget here on the channel, and would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. So a few things. We do have some visitors. If you hear the door come back and forth, or you hear my husband, he's right outside of this window painting. I do apologize for any background noise, but I'm trying my best with what I've got. I wanted to talk to you today about some medicinal herbs and flowers that I have in my apothecary that really have helped us in the past, and I think they can help everyone. Before I say that, I do need to disclose that I am not a medical professional. All of my knowledge comes from experience. I've used these herbs on myself and my family, so please do this at your own discretion. A lot of the times people will say consult your doctor, and we all know how I feel about pharmaceuticals and the medical industry in general. Honestly, I think a lot of things can be cured at home, but I understand that there are some medicines out there that are necessary. So please don't think I am, pushing anything on you. I just believe that there are some alternatives out there to help people, and there's not a lot of information about it. So that's what we're doing in these videos today. And I have quite a bit of information for you. I really wanted to narrow it down to just an illness and what herb can treat it or help with that. And I will say there are prevention methods when it comes to illnesses. My children, they rarely get sick, but we do get sick, and I personally get sick. So a lot of people in this herbalism field will say we never get sick, and I want to be completely transparent with you. Yes, you can still get sick, but I will say that some of these things that are pushed onto us pharmaceutical wise can do more long-term harm. It could definitely help your sickness, but it could really bring up some issues in the future. So I believe these herbs can be beneficial. They can still do what a pharmaceutical does, and it just may take longer for that sickness to leave. It really depends on a lot of different things. So I will say there's some prevention methods, just basic hygiene, cleaning yourselves, washing your hands. We don't use a lot of chemicals in the household, at least I try not to. So not exposing yourself to those items, but basic hygiene, washing your hands, keeping yourself clean, keeping your work surfaces clean, cleaning up after yourselves. That's really helpful. Number 2 on the list is going to be adequate sleep, and that is where I'm lacking currently, but that is okay. It's just a stage in our lives right now, but adequate sleep is very important. Number 3 on the list is going to be exercise. Get your body moving every day. I know easier said than done. Some people aren't able to do that, but try your best to get your body moving. You don't need to run marathons or lift a ton of weights. Just a basic stroll around the block, getting your heart rate up and just moving your body is super important. And then number 4 is going to be your diet. So getting adequate hydration, getting a good balanced diet. I just wanted to start with some preventative measures that we use in the household. And of course, you need to research, perhaps look into a naturopath for your children or yourself. But these herbs, I would not experiment with my children. Some I feel comfortable with, the mild herbs, but some of these are getting into a little bit of a complicated state of herbalism. So I did want to say that. We are going to start up with one of my favorites, and a lot of these different herbs and flowers are pronounced differently. This is from the Middle East is what I've been told, but it's hyssop. I get a purple flower from mine, and it smells earthy. I will say it's bitter in taste, but it does have this peppermint lavender flavor to it, if that makes sense. So hyssop is what I say, hyssop. That is great in teas, but my favorite way to use hyssop, and I'm going to demonstrate it for you right now because I have a great amount dried from last year, but I'm going to put it in this jar. And what I do with it is cover it with whiskey, brandy, or vodka. And I'm going to do whiskey this time. This is the Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea. This was given to my husband, but this is 90 proof, so you don't have to go 100 proof with everything. smells delicious, and I am just going to cover that. And we talk about tinctures a lot on the channel. People have a misconception that you are taking herbal shots of whiskey, and while that's fine and good if you don't want to be a productive human, that is not the case in my household. We are microdosing with this, which also has a negative connotation, but think of it as what it's called, a micro dose of something. So it's very, very small. And what I do with it, I'm going to let this sit for 4 to 6 weeks, even longer if I can infuse it. And I just use this as an herbal tincture when I have an unexpected respiratory illness. And wow, in the last 3 years or so, we will say, a lot of people have had unexpected respiratory illnesses, some of them man-made, most of them really. And, a lot of us weren't prepared for that because, man, was it spread easily. So a way to aid in that is to use this hyssop tincture, and all you do is kind of make a tiny hot toddy with it. So you need to warm some water. I put some lemon or honey in it, and then you put this microdose in here. So it's just a drop of this, and it really seems to clear my, sinuses out, and it really helps with my breathing. It helps your lungs. It's just a really great herb to have on hand, and it grows really well, especially here in northern Colorado. I'm in zone 5B, so depending where you are in the world, it definitely grows, but you can also find a lot of these herbs online. Frontier Co-op has some great options. Honestly, just look up herbal apothecaries online and it will bring up some in your area. I will say it would be beneficial to find something near you. A lot of plants are good for you in that sense, kind of like when you're thinking of honey, local honey is good for you. Local herbs, flowers are good for you, if that makes sense, just because of pollination and things of that nature. But I did want to bring that up. You don't have to grow everything in your garden. I, of course, want to. I just think it's fun, and herbal medicine has always been very intriguing to me, so I'm learning a lot along the way. But I will say hyssop is easy to grow, and here is our whiskey tincture. You saw that took 10 seconds of my time, and I will let this sit in a cool and dark place. Sometimes you can let it sit in the sun, but when I'm doing my whiskey tinctures, I like cool and dark places. That's just me though, so always personal preference. Next up on the list is going to be chamomile. I'm just bringing that up because I had a great harvest last year, and this is great for a relaxing tea. I prefer this in a tea bath scent. So what I'm doing is putting this in some sort of larger vessel, and then I'm bathing in it. I think chamomile is great. It's perfect timing. I love you more. It's great to give to kids as well. Chamomile tea does not have a lot of caffeine in it. I mean, most of the time it doesn't have any. So it's really helpful for kids. I think it's a fun little activity for them too. Yeah, they see the herbs, huh? We have a 3-year-old here now, but chamomile is great, and I have found that it definitely relaxes kids. You can infuse it into an oil, and you can put some lavender with it as well, and it's really helpful for relaxing, calm type of vibe sense. I don't know what you want to call it. Okay, next one, another one in my apothecary that I like to grow in the garden, very easy to grow. It's going to be pennyroyal, so it looks just like this. Again, another purple flower. I smell more of a peppermint when I smell this, but of course, every palate's different. Maybe more of a spearmint. Pennyroyal is great. I like it best in a tea. So I like to mix it with some honey, let it infuse overnight, and then I stick it with my tea. It's great for drinking when you're feeling stuffy. So I would say I use this as a preventative herb as well as when I'm aiding in whatever sinus sickness I have. I have quite a few allergies, especially out here in Colorado, so this is a great tea to drink every now and then. Again, you just mix it with some honey, let it infuse, even a week would be great. I can even just infuse it in my local honey here, which I might even do, and put it in there, and then I just add maybe a tablespoon or a teaspoon to my teas, and that seems to be the best thing to do. So I forgot that is what I wanted to do here. I'm going to infuse my honey. Again, local honey is great. Even if you keep bees, that would be cool. That's a venture that I am unsure of, but of course I would love to try that out on my homestead here. So that's enough, and it will eventually not be separated there. And it can infuse while I wait for something sinus related, although mine probably won't come till October, knowing my body out here. All right, next on the list is going to be white willow bark, and this is one that I get from Frontier Co-op. I have not had success growing this in my garden, but if you have, let me know your success story. White willow bark is great. It is my solution to ibuprofen or aspirin. We're outside now walking. My girl loves the garden just as much as I do. White willow bark is my alternative to ibuprofen and aspirins. If you did not know, long-term exposure to those, believe it or not, is very harmful to your system. Right, take 47. We're just gonna keep rolling with this. What I was saying is white willow bark, I feel like it's best for pain. Joint pain's great, but I suffer from migraines. I started using white willow bark and it's amazing. I prefer it in a tincture, so that is alcohol-based. Of course, you can find alternatives to alcohol-based tinctures. There's so many options out there for you. A lot of people ask how I get this information. First of all, I turn to medicinal books that are local to me. I do have some books from Pennsylvania because I am from Pennsylvania. You could also Google it. Just really be careful about your sources and who you trust. There are a lot of influencers out there that speak on herbalism, and I just feel like their knowledge is limited. And again, like I've talked about it before, I don't have this extensive degree in this. These are just things that have worked for me, and I promise I wouldn't mislead you on this. But if you want information, if you want some books local to you, I will drop some links in the description box. Of course, they will cost money, but there is a lot of free information out there. Go to your local library, try and network with people in your community. I get it. I'm from a rural community, and it's hard to do. I will say that, but try your best. And then with white willow bark, I did want to mention you can put it in a tea. So steep it in some hot water. It has a bittering taste to it. So lemon and honey is always my go-to. If you're vegan, plant-based, they have apple-based honey that you could use. You could use maple syrup, agave, or maybe you like it bitter. I have found that mixing it with a peach black tea has always been really tasty for me. And it has that added bit of caffeine, which I know is a hot topic of debate. I do implement caffeine into my diet and alcohol. So it's really up to the user, but of course you can blend it with a black peach decaf tea. There are so many options out there for you. We live in 2023, so information and products for herbalism is there at your fingertips. So I will link my Amazon store. If you support Amazon, there are some things that I have for my apothecary, but the best items that I have found are at thrift stores. So that is my favorite place to go when I'm looking for jars or different books. But again, library free, Google free, but really check your sources on that. So I think I'm going to wrap up today's video. I have given you some herbs that are easy, beginner, intermediate level, and today was really about pain and respiratory issues. So drop down in the comments what you want to see. Do you have an ailment that perhaps you want to treat with herbs or flowers? Let me know, because I've done a lot of it, and I've been successful with this. It is something that I'm passionate about. I will say in the last video, I was very nervous to post it. Holy cow, the response, thank you all. I'm an emotional person, so that made me very teary-eyed. I often doubt myself when it comes to content and what I want to share, so the amount of support I got on that video just really was amazing from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. Thank you to all who shopped the links too. That really helps myself and my family. I just appreciate you all and needed you to know that. Again, disclaimer, not a medical professional, just a gal who's passionate about herbs and flowers, and I want to help you. So let me know in the comments below what ailments you may have. We've talked about it before. I have a lot of videos on this. I will try and make a playlist of those types of videos just to take it out of my emergency preparedness, although I do think that everyone should have this in their prepper pantry. But yeah, sorry I've been a little bit MIA. We were celebrating my daughter's 3rd birthday. I talked about her in, the last video, and she unfortunately missed her 1st birthday because of her illness. She was in the pediatric ICU for about a month, and it was very scary. So her birthday is always a little emotional for me. I always, until she's 18 at least, want it to be the spectacular thing. So I wanted to be very present for her birthday like I am for her every day, and we had some family. So thank you for understanding our little bit of an absence. But if you want to check in on our day-to-day, definitely subscribe to my other channel. That's more vlog style content. And I think I'm going to end it here. As always, stay adventurous, stay creative. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, y'all.
I want to be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I won. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty?